Learning the game. I was in a bad mood. It was the last day of 7th grade before summer vacation. I had known the day was coming, but I had tried not to think about it because it made me sad. For my classmates, it was a happy day. During the afternoon, Miss Logan asked for volunteers to share what they were going to do during the summer. Lots of hands went up. Some talked about going away on trips, others about summer camp. I folded my hands under my desk, lowered my head, and tried not to listen. After a while, I managed to tune out what they were saying and only heard the faint voices coming from different parts of the room. In the school bus on the way home, I took out my notepad and pencil from my shirt pocket and began figuring out how much time there was before I would start school again. From the middle of June to the first week of November. About 4.5 months. 10 weeks picking strawberries in Santa Maria, and another 8 weeks harvesting grapes and cotton in Fresno. As I added the number of days, I started to get a headache. Looking out the window, I said to myself, 132 days, more days after tomorrow. As soon as I arrived home, I took 2 of Papa's aspirins and lay down. I had just closed my eyes when I heard Carlos, our neighbor, shouting outside. "Come on, Panchito, we're starting the game." The game was kick the can. I had played it with Carlos and my younger brothers, Trampita, Torito, and Ruben, on school days when I had no homework, and on weekends when I was not too tired from working in the fields. "Hurry, or else!" Carlos hollered impatiently. I liked the game, but I did not enjoy playing with Carlos. He was older than I and often reminded me of it, especially when I disagreed with him. If we wanted to play, we had to follow his rules. No one could play unless he said so. He wore tight jeans and a white t-shirt with the sleeves rolled up to show off his muscles. Under his right sleeve, he tucked a cigarette pack. "Come on, Panchito," Trampita yelled. "You're making us wait." I went outside to play. I wanted to forget about the next 133 days. "It's about time," Carlos said, giving me a light punch on the right shoulder. "You'll be the guard," he said, pointing at Ruben. "Trampita, you draw the circle. Torito, you get the can." As Manuel was giving orders, Carlos was giving orders, I saw Manuelito standing by one of the garbage cans. During every game, he stood by himself on the sidelines because Carlos would not let him play. "Let Manuelito be the guard," I said to Carlos. "No way," he responded annoyingly. "I already told you before. He can't play. He's too slow." "Come on, Carlos, let him play," I insisted. "No," he shouted, giving me and Manuelito a dirty look. "Go ahead and play, Panchito," Manuelito said timidly. "I'll stand here and watch." We started the game, and the more we played, the less I thought about my troubles. Even my headache went away. We played until dark. The alarm clock went off early the next morning. I glanced at the window. It was still dark outside. I shut my eyes, trying to get one more minute of sleep, but Roberto, my older brother, jumped out of bed and pulled off the covers. "Time to get up," he said. When I saw him putting on his work clothes, I remembered that we were going to work and not to school. My shoulders felt heavy. On the way to the fields, Papa turned on the Cucaracha's headlights to see through the thick fog that blew in from the coast. It covered the valley every morning like a large gray sheet. Ito, the sharecropper, was waiting for us when we arrived. Then a black pickup truck appeared. We could see it through the wall of fog, not far from where we parked. The driver stopped behind our Cucaracha and in perfect Spanish ordered the passenger who rode in the bed of the truck to get off. "Who's that?" I asked Papa, pointing to the driver. "Don't point," Papa said. "It's bad manners. He's Mr. Diaz, the contratista. He runs the bracero camp for Sheehy Berry Farms." The man with him is one of the braceros. In his broken Spanish, Ito introduced us to Gabriel, the man who accompanied the contratista. Gabriel looked a few years older than Roberto. He wore a pair of loose tan pants and a blue shirt. The blue shirt was faded. His straw hat was slightly tilted to the right, and he had long dark sideburns that were trimmed and came down the middle of his square jaw. His face was weather-beaten. The deep cracks in the back of his heels were as black as the soles of his guaraches. Gabriel took off his hat and we shook hands. He seemed nervous, but he relaxed when we greeted him in Spanish. After the contratista left, we marched in line to the end of the field. I selected a row and started to work. Gabriel ended up between Papa and me. Because it was Gabriel's first time harvesting strawberries, Ito asked Papa to show him how to pick. "It's easy, Don Gabriel," Papa said. "The main thing is to make sure that the strawberry is ripe and not bruised or rotten. And when you get tired from squatting, you can pick on your knees." Gabriel quickly learned by watching and following Papa. At noon, Papa invited Gabriel to join us for lunch on our carcaricha. He sat next to me in the back seat while Roberto and Papa sat in the front. From his brown paper bag, he pulled out a Coke and 3 sandwiches, 1 of mayonnaise and 2 of jelly. "Not again?" "We get the same lunch from Diaz every day," he complained. "I am really tired of this." "You can have one of my taquitos," I said. "Only if you take this jelly sandwich," I responded, handing it to me. I looked at Papa's face. When I saw him smile, I took it and thanked him. "Do you have a family, Don Gabriel?" Papa asked. "Yes, and I miss them a lot," he answered, "especially my 3 kids." "How old are they?" Papa asked. "The oldest is 5, the middle one is 3, and the little one, a girl, is 2. "And you, Don Pancho, how many do you have?" "A handful," Papa said, grinning. 5 boys and a girl, all living at home." "You're lucky. You get to see them every day," Gabriel said. "I haven't seen mine for months." He continued as though thinking out loud. "I didn't want to leave them, but I had no choice. We have to eat, you know. I would send them a few dollars every month for food and things. I'd like to send them more, but after I pay Diaz for room and board and transportation, little is left." In an angry tone of voice, he added, "Diaz is a crook. He overcharges for everything. That sinvergüenza doesn't know who he's dealing with."